to be buried in this area.
Which should allow us to see the burnt ground surface and spot any
fringes of society, and so who weren't accorded the normal burial road. We understand this, we would have to come back and dig it on a larger scale.
It's got a chance to actually dig them up on this site, so that was particularly nice.
This is where Phil is digging in this building cluster in here.
The soil is analysed and the pot is looked at more carefully will really add to our knowledge of burial customs.
So the point of the geophysics was to try and see if we can...
And it's been used to contain burnt bone, which we have to think is...
buried according to the normal customs of Roman burial.
You mean we're digging in the right place?
Dig's certainly given me a newfound respect for this man, Edmund.
This big route then,
well, you have to. Archaeological site. 25 burials, buried about 3 metres below the ground level.
We'll keep digging to make sure, but it looks like what we found is
Saxon burials than we have Roman burials. So finding a Roman...
And certainly a lot of people, a lot of very high up heads of state have gone to visit these digs to try to see if...
Did he actually do any digging? And to start digging those pits?
Exactly.
Well, actually, in this area, in Norfolk, Roman burials are very underrepresented.
At all. Phil, are you sure we're digging in the right place? It's a reconstruction of the area where Phil was digging, which we...
Are the burials...
the normal way and would be buried in different places to the normal cemetery. But
once or twice a week we'll dig, always as volunteers, but when they're...
As so much care was taken in placing it in a wooden box and burying it.
It's also the position of burial, the fact that they're placed not in proper grave cuts.
The grave pit, the burial pit, from here to here.
It's a scheduled ancient monument. We're not allowed to use the digger to come in and take
pits to extract the ore, and then chucking their
burial ground. That was established in the 16th century, and there are already
You'll find that this is a big double burial, but anyway, it's
fragments of burnt ore here.
Ore is that the burials is not just one
you put in them. So the whole manner of burial is really rather strange.
For the diggers, it's been quite hard because it's all been dug by hand.
Roman cremation is really adding to the number of burials we have.
Digging, yeah, how exciting.
These sorts of people who were executed would very often be, we've got someone buried very deep down at the bottom of a very deep pit, and we've got
extrapolating that over the size of the burial ground, which was stated as something like 13 acres.
Of the burial pits, probable burial pit dug through perhaps even the earliest.
A trench here where geophys have detected an area of burning that...
Concentration of the burning.
But professional...
Yeah. I mean, this building's been burnt down.
Right.
Dig deeply. So we had a digger in just to take off this very rough surface. And so
a huge area, huge number of burials that, haven't...
Burial pits dug into burial pits, dug into burial pits, and that's...
language. Suddenly, as he pointed to the ground, I realised that I was walking across a...
One of the emergency burial grounds of the Black Death, set out in 13...
You've got to get through this potential.
And in this house also, we've started to come across such burials.
Belongs to the same range of structures that Phil's digging, some 80 metres away.
This is the concentration of the area of burning. And just look at the soil.
Something from beginning to end. So we're actually identifying features, digging them.
You mean we're digging in the right place?
Well, look at that, lovely and neat.
Like that before, normally they're laying on their backs, as it's quite, it's a quite traditional method of burial. So
that is not your question. Your question was, are we digging in the right place?
Out of the whole of Norfolk, we've only got something like 50 burials.
We all, I should say, all of us dig somewhere else most of the year.
Or some of the fires that were being burnt here.
So this is out of the burial ground during Roman times. The Museum of London Archaeology is now
Get digging. Lots of buildings that Phil's digging. It would...
Yes, we're digging in the right place.
Survey before we start digging.
And I'm confident this isn't...
And see if we can start extrapolating the numbers up to understand how many.
Dig it by hand.
Am I digging underneath?
A cemetery, but it's a cemetery of rather abnormal burials.